Hello everybody, it's the Groppeteer, and I'm back again with the Steven Universe Vlog, and today's episode is Gem Drill. So, you guys aren't gonna like this. You guys aren't gonna like this vlog. I'll just say it now. I'll say it now, so if you really feel strongly about this episode, then you can leave now, and there'll be no reason for you to stay, unless you'd like to have a well put together, rebuttal to the argument that I am to propose, which is not exactly super strong, but still, I would understand if you did stay after this, just to hear my points and understand my reasoning. I didn't think it was good, at all. Well, not at all, but I think it was bad. A real letdown. Really, really lame. Really, really lame. A total letdown. I'm gonna get crucified. So, in this episode, following the events of the last... following the events of the last episode, Steven and Peridot are in their little drill thingy, and they're drilling down to the... journeying to the center of the Earth, so they can stop the cluster from forming and destroying the entire world. And you've already seen the episode if you're watching this vlog, I assume. So, yes, in the end, the cluster is stopped by the end of this episode, which might be the first problem I have with this, but I'll get to that later. So on their way down, they talk a little bit. Peridot talks a little bit about how she's kind of sad she can never go back to Homeworld, in a pretty good scene. But she's happy that now, it doesn't feel like she's a complete alien on this planet anymore because she's gotten to know the crystal gems and Steven very, very well. And then they reach the cluster, and the cluster's trying to form. The cluster is gorgeous. The paintwork they do on this, it looks beautiful. It's a really, really nice background, I guess. Background, scenery, whatever. It's a really nice looking scenery. The cluster looks nice. It was well designed. The colors are really nice. It looks really nice. So they start drilling into the cluster with their little drill thingies to destroy the cluster. But when they do so, it gets a little wonky here, so stay with me. So from what I can gather, and I don't want to sound like I'm bragging or anything, but I've watched a lot of Steven Universe, and I think I can understand sort of what they're doing with the story sometimes. So what I can gather is the souls that are stuck inside the gems that are shattered are just looking to complete their gems, which makes sense. So Steven feels their pain, sort of, and he can see their souls kind of getting hurt. So when they keep drilling down, he kind of loses himself and finds himself inside the cluster, but not inside the physical cluster, inside the cluster's brain. The cluster's brain, the cluster's brain that has gem shards in it, is, I think, what it is. With that explanation, what I just said about the gem shards inside, it could be he's literally inside the cluster. Maybe it's just like some floaty space or something. But from what it's assumed, they kind of mean that it's his mind that they're, why is it wobbly? That they're going in. By the way, I know I said it last vlog, but I'm really going to try to work to get my actual camera back. I'm using my laptop. I've had to use it for the last few videos because my camera's not being my buddy right now. Anyway, so he goes inside let's just call it the cluster's mind for the time being. It really won't affect my thoughts on the episode. So he goes inside the cluster's mind, and inside the cluster's having a real tough time about what it wants to be. It's a real teenager. It doesn't know if it wants to form. Well, no, it knows it wants to form, that it's destined to form, but it really doesn't want to form. I wouldn't say it hurts it, but it really doesn't want to form, really bad. It just doesn't want to, but it wants to. It's a kind of weird in between. But when something's wrong, but you have to do it. I think that's kind of what they're going for with this thing. And so all the little gem shards inside are kind of like a golem thing going on. It's like, we want to form. No, we love not to form. With the Smeagol and the golem thing going on. And they So they're pretty much having an internal war, and Stevens kind of pops in, and he says that they don't have to form. They can find. They don't have to. Well, they. Okay, wait. Back up. Steven pops inside, and he tells the gems shards that it's not bad to be completely broken. You can, meet new people. You're trying to find yourself, but you can meet new people that can help you try to find yourself, which I think is actually a really good metaphor. They do it in here. It's really smart. So yeah, he even introduces two gem shards to each other to show them that, you can be buddies with people. And the cluster seems to like this. And Steven, but when it gets a little unstable again, Steven offers to bubble all the gems inside and put them in bubbles. That's going to take a long time, and before he can do that, he gets popped out of the brain back to where he was, physically, and it seems that the cluster is starting to bubble itself, and it creates a giant bubble around the entire cluster that will pretty much encase it to hopefully remain dormant for, forever, I guess. I don't think this is the last we've seen of the cluster, but it makes itself a giant bubble so it won't hurt anybody anymore, because you know how gems are when they're inside of bubbles. And yeah, it's pretty cool that it makes its own bubble. That's pretty neat. Anyway, so Peridot and Steven go back to the surface, and it turns out that the crystal gems did find a way back, now with Lapis and company, and then it just kind of ends from there. So, why does a Gryppeteer not like this one? Well, from an episode itself, like, if this was the only episode I've ever seen of Steven Universe, I'd actually think it's pretty cool, because it is. It's a standalone. It's a pretty cool episode. I really like the internal thing that Steven's like the person in between the Smeagol and the Golem inside of the mind of the cluster. That's really cool. Because he's kind of the in-between for the crystal gems as well sometimes. And I really like the talk, as I said before, the scene where Peridot's talking about how she can't really go back to Homeworld, but she's really happy with where she is now. That's pretty effective. She even cries. Peridot cries. However, if I were to judge this episode, which I am because I've seen every episode multiple times. It's kind of my job to watch this show. I mean, not that that's a bad thing. It's like the greatest job on the planet. But, it's obvious that I've seen a few episodes of Steven Universe. This is momentarily, I'm guessing because they brought in Lapis. Lapis is going to be like the new kind of storyline thing. This is momentarily the end of the cluster storyline, which encompassed, I'd say, at least the last 15 episodes. Because it started with the one where Peridot, what's it called? Wait, no, I know it. No, I don't, never mind. But it started with the episode where they catch Peridot. Oh, Catch and Release, that's what it's called. It starts with Catch and Release. It goes all the way through, the Rainy Day episode, all the character building they do with Peridot, but all the impending doom of the cluster, all the information they tell us about how it's this big, scary thing that, you can't toy with it. It's insane. It's like 1,000 things going on. And that's technically just this cluster episode. That's not like counting all the episodes they spend with the with gem shards in the past, like the Nightmare Hospital and all the the Keeping It Together episodes. That's technically not even counting that, which is even more episodes. So this is technically the big finale to the entire Peridot storyline, including the cluster and the drill that they've spent so much time on. And it's lame. It's kind of a letdown. I mean, I really liked this entire arc thus far. I really liked building on Peridot's character. As as I said before, I was a little, at the beginning, I was kind of, she was doing a lot more irredeemable things than she was redeemable, but she eventually became not only a fan favorite, but one of mine. And she's, Peridot's grown into a really, really mature character. And this episode even expands upon that. And the cluster has been built up to be this giant, scary, woogly boogly boogly sort of thing that's like the evil of all Earth. It's literally going to destroy the Earth. It's so scary that it made, Peridot, the super loyal person or the super loyal gem that we already knew was a loyal gem, turn on its leader. If it's that important, then this is going to be something crazy when they find it. They find it, It's neat. It's got all these little souls and these faces. All right, that's that's cool. So, but you know, you want to see it form, right? You want to see the giant formation that it's going to turn into. I mean, thinking about it now, that would literally destroy the Earth. But it would still be cool to see them fight a giant cluster that's insane. They got to call upon all kinds of things, maybe even fuse with Lapis. No, Steven just kind of goes in, plays a therapist, and that's it. And that's the extent of what he does. He kind of pushes two shards together. They're buddies. That's it. It's kind of just, he's kind of just there. It was very much of a letdown. I mean, I'll be honest, it was just a letdown. I didn't like it. I didn't like it as the conclusion to this very big story arc, at least. As a standalone episode, as I said, it's pretty good, but as the conclusion of this giant story arc, it's just kind of a letdown. I mean, okay, I don't fully understand this. Please explain it in the comments, because I'm open to, hearing other people's opinions on this. How did the cluster, did it explain how the cluster bubbled itself? Did it say that? Did it say, I know it's an ability all gyms have, I guess. Is that how it did it? Was there a reason? I don't fully know the extent of a lot of things that happened in this episode. And I would love to hear a well-formed rebuttal that is not, lol bro, your opinions suck, or something like that in the comments if you would like to tell me what you thought about this episode. Because I'm not prejudiced to hate these episodes, and I'm really surprised that I hated well, I wouldn't say hate, but that I disliked the giant finale to this giant showcase as much as I did, but it wasn't that good. So I can't wait for you guys to crucify me. But in the meantime, I will see you guys later. I don't know when the next episode is, but hopefully I'll have better glasses by then. And that's pretty much it. So I will see you guys later. Bye-bye. Woo-wee.